Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Cain Velasquez, sentenced to 5 years. Let's talk about it.
So, as I'm sure a lot of you saw, a lot of the MMA world has been talking about it as well. MMA analysts have kind of given their 2 cents, and we're here to give you ours. Cain Velasquez was sentenced to 5 years over the shooting that he committed in reference to an individual that was babysitting one of his family members, inappropriately touching that child. Velasquez obviously wanted to take his revenge and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, now he's been sentenced to 5 years. You know, when this case barely got underway a little while back, obviously everybody had their opinion on it, saying, oh, you know, any man or any parent would feel the same way. They'd want to do the exact same thing. Cain was just man enough to actually do it and so on and so forth. And I actually agree with that sentiment. I agree that as a parent, if something were to happen to your child or you were to see your child in some sort of danger, we'd all feel the exact same way. We would all want some sort of justice done for our child. That being said, listen, I'm going to give you my complete unfiltered opinion about this. I have been part of cases where we've represented clients, criminal clients, for a number of different things, from things as small as, you know, marijuana usage all the way up to murder. Everything in between, including some cases where we've seen that unfortunately kids were touched, so on and so forth. That being said, I completely agree with the sentiment that people want to get revenge for their children, and as the parent of that child, you may want to take matters into your own hands. The only problem is that when you look at the law from a perspective of we can't take it into our own hands, you have to understand, unfortunately, what the justice that Cain got is also part of the factor. Listen, if every person on the planet took justice into their own hands, it'd be the Wild West out here. So I like Cain. If you guys, you know what, you might not know because we weren't doing the podcast back in those days. Cain's actually my favorite heavyweight as far as the MMA. First, at least Mexican or Latino representing heavyweight champion. I'm both obviously in boxing and in and in MMA. And then I would always watch all of Cain matches. I loved it when Cain demolished Brock Lesnar. I was there, not I was there, but I was watching the Bigfoot fight when he demolished Bigfoot. I watched his trilogy with Dos Santos, all that. I was always a big Cain fan, and I am still a big Cain fan to this day. The unfortunate part of it is that, again, I do have to look at it from a point outside of a fan, outside of an MMA fan, outside of someone that can sympathize with what Cain did, can sympathize with understanding why people would want that revenge. The matter of fact is, unfortunately, we can't let people take justice into their own hands, because, again, other than that, I mean, we would be taking justice for the smallest things, you know, disputes over money, disputes over a girl, disputes over, you know, different types of things. So while I completely understand, and I'm with Cain and I support Cain, and if there's anyone that I would like to ever get pardoned, it's Cain Velasquez. At the same time, we can't let people take justice into their own hands, man. Unfortunately, you know, I'm in that type of situation where I've seen both sides of it. I've worked for the courts. I've worked in private practice. I've worked alongside prosecutors, all that kind of good stuff. So I literally can see it from, you know, both sides of the law. And unfortunately, we just can't let people take justice into their own hands. I definitely think as a society, maybe as MMA fans, we should all get together, put together a GoFundMe. That way Cain can have a good a time as possible the moment he gets out, and I hope that he gets out immediately. I hope he does as minimal amount of time as possible, and hopefully, you know, as soon as he gets back, we can all, you know, throw him the biggest party that you can for someone of his stature, someone of his character, because Cain is not the type of person. Cain has never been a talker. He's never the type to talk shit to people. He's never the type to disparage people, to be disrespectful. He's a workman, man. He goes in there, he does his job, and then he gets out and he keeps quiet. Very solemn, very stoic kind of guy. And I appreciate that. So I don't want anybody to take like, oh, I'm taking anybody else's side but Cain. I am 100% taking Cain's side. But again, we can't let people take justice into their own hands. Imagine if the molester, the guy that did what they did to his family members, decided, oh well, now it's my time to get revenge, and decided to go towards Cain's family after he did what he did. It's just gonna be a whole lot of back and forth, and that's why in the past we've had so many issues with people taking justice into their own hands. Again, man, I get it. Sometimes it's frustrating. We all feel like in this case, we feel the justice system hasn't really given justice. I mean, Cain's in jail, in prison, and this other guy, the guy that basically started the whole thing by being a pervert, is out. And I believe his sentencing is in June, and we're not seeing any justice for that. But listen, as soon as he gets in, the inmates will take care of him. So again, we can't take justice into our own hands, man. As much as we all like Cain, and myself included, it's just one of those concepts where, unfortunately, if we let one person take justice into their own hands, it's gonna go on and go on and go on with everything, even things that we may disagree with. So I'm torn. Because yes, I support Cain to this day. Cain is my favorite heavyweight MMA fighter. I support the man 100%. I'm all down for creating a GoFundMe to support him and his family, so on and so forth, man. But again, unfortunately, we can't let certain things go as a society, at least if we want to maintain a structure in society. But what do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, it's definitely not very easy, because on the one hand, you're gonna have people that are gonna be saying like, well, he was defending his child, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But it'd be one thing if this was a Gary Plouch situation, and he immediately got the person that was alleged to have done that stuff to his son and actually got him. Okay, there's a direct connection there. The problem was that he actually hit somebody that was effectively a bystander. Whether or not his father defended what allegedly his son did or didn't do, or why he's alleging his son did or do, the fact of the matter is, the father was a third party, and he also got hit on that. I was like, no matter what you want to say, I was like, if it was, okay, maybe he hit the alleged person that did it, fine, that's one thing. But now you hit a third party that had nothing to do with the situation. Whether you like Cain or don't like Cain, it has nothing to do with that case. The fact of the matter is, he did hit somebody, and even though Cain admitted, I think it was like a no contest plea that he was trying to do, the fact of the matter is, he did say like, look, what the way I went about it was wrong. Cain himself even admitted that. Granted, he didn't say he was completely guilty, but a no contest basically saying, I did it, but I don't think I should get the guilty plea for that. That being said, there is at least a little bit of good news here on it. Originally, when this case was going on, Cain had a completely different judge and was completely refusing Cain Velasquez being released on bail. That changed as of a couple days ago. He actually had a completely different judge that was kind of observing case and giving his own, I guess, take on the situation. Originally, the prosecutors actually wanted something along the lines of 30 years to life, with the judge vehemently disagreed on and said, look, man, at the end of the day, like, what happened was wrong. Yes, we are going to have to deliver a punishment on that. But I do think it is a bit extreme that we are effectively taking away a father from his child. Now, there were a couple factors at play here. For one, he acknowledged that Cain has actually had a lot of support from not just the fans, but also that letter from Dana White saying that Cain Velasquez was a soft-spoken person outside of the cage, mind you. Inside of the cage, he was a monster, but outside of the cage, he was a completely soft-spoken, calm, serene person, and a lot of outspoken support from not only just the fans, but also his close family and friends. And the fact that Cain Velasquez had no priors of any violent past or anything like that. So he said, look, we have to give a punishment. I think 30 years is extreme. We're not going to go with that. But at the very least, look, we're going to have to give him a punishment, so we're going to have to give him 5 years. Now, the good news that comes from that is that because he already served 8 months in jail before he was let go on bail, that's actually going to serve towards his time served. So believe it or not, we're actually looking at best the shortest amount of time he's going to spend in there. It's probably going to be more closer to like the 2-year mark. So at the very least, that's good news. That's not 5 years being taken away from a father being taken away from his child, which, look, the judge saw 30 years and saw that's too extreme. We have to deliver a punishment, but that's too much. And he noted, yes, this was a peaceful man, and he is a pillar of his community. We have to deliver a punishment. 30 years is too much, but 5 years, we have to give something to him. And the fact that he's already technically served some of that time already, making it closer to 2 years, at the very least, the judges, even Cain's judges said, it's bittersweet, but it is what it is. But 2 years, that doesn't seem that bad at all considering. Granted, yes, Cain acknowledged what he did was wrong. We're not going to deny that. It's that old saying of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Which, yes, Cain even said, like, as extreme as it was, I was trying to protect my children. And even the judge kind of agreed with him. But I do think all in all, this could have gone a lot worse if it didn't have a much more forgiving judge. And let's be honest, Cain deserves at least a little bit of good judgment on this. I don't think anybody can deny that they wouldn't defend their kid. To this much extreme, I don't exactly condone it, but at the very least, we at least have a better ending than what could have happened with the prosecutors wanting to have a 30-year sentence on the man.
Yeah, man, 30 years would definitely be, extreme, at least in my opinion. I think, honestly, this was the best case scenario for Cain. I know a lot of times, we look at 5 years. Still seems like a lot. I'll be honest with you. I think with good behavior, he's looking at maybe even less than 2 years. Hopefully, we're looking at like maybe a year and some change. But again, man, given the circumstances, this is the best case outcome for Cain. Shout out to him and his family. Shout out to everyone, because I don't think I saw one person in the MMA community not saying that hopefully he gets out sooner or in less time, or so on and so forth. And again, listen, if there's anyone ever out there that deserves a pardon, this is the guy that deserves a pardon. If there's anyone that deserves to get out earlier, it's this guy, because what he did, yes, while it was extreme, and yes, he does need to serve a little bit of time, which he already technically served a little bit of time. Again, we can all sympathize and we can all understand where Cain was coming from when it comes to this. And again, forget all that aside. The person that Cain is a good guy, man. Cain is just overall, like, there's not one person that I've seen anywhere, even the people that fought him, that have ever said a bad thing about Cain. They've not talked negative about him. Yeah, maybe during the fight, in order to try and get the fight build up. But other than that, like, as a person, I haven't seen one person talk about Cain in a negative light. So overall, Cain is just a good guy, man. We all need to see him succeed. Hopefully he gets out. Hopefully, again, I'm hoping it, a year at max. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Again, we all can't wait to the day that Cain is free, regardless of the circumstances. So we will all stay tuned. Hopefully the man, is good while he's in there, which I'm sure he will be. Hopefully he can get out soon. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.